Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Email Edit. I've got Catherine here with me, and we are excited to go through 4 different brands today. We've got one that's more of a home accessories, homewares, gifts type brand. We've got a sunglasses brand, a sewing supplies merchant, and a spin studio, which is something a little bit different for us. So I'm really excited about that. Before we jump into it, hey Catherine, how you doing?
Hey, good. How's it going, Kestrel?
Oh, chilling out, looking at emails,
Cool,
as I
cool.
do. Well, let's go ahead and jump in here. Just as a reminder, folks, we are going to go through these 4 emails. We're going to give out some great best practices that I'm sure anybody could learn from. These are great email insights. And then we're going to spin a magical spinning wheel and pick one of those brands to be remade. Catherine's going to go into her design workshop and she's going to reconfigure the message, giving it a makeover, considering our recommendations. This way, you get to see how these best practices actually play out in real life. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and open on up to Hamish and Buster. Whew. So obviously, first of all, I love this logo that you have with the 2 little animals. I think it's super cute and immediately kind of pulls me into you and your brand. You're then offering up a great headline here with the percent off sale and when it's going to happen. I really like to see that. One thing that I will say, and I'm glad that you kept the copy kind of short underneath these 2 items. One thing I will say, and I'm sure that maybe this was a draft message and maybe you hadn't gotten to it yet, but we really want to make sure these links to the images link back to the website, to that product. That's a big one for me off the top of my head. I'll keep looking. And then Catherine, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I'm definitely instantly drawn in by this logo. I do wish that our logo maybe wasn't quite so big.
Little smaller. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just scale it back a little bit to
Yep.
give more room to that content.
Right.
So whether that's a bold hero image that's speaking to the sale, or it's a close-up of one of the products. But yeah, scaling back the logo just a smidge is one of the things that jumps out to me. Another thing I'd like to see is potentially the use of headlines to let me know when we're changing the topic within the message. So going from one type of accessory to another type of accessory, we've got stuff for the kitchen, but then we've got art for your walls. So using headlines to help me easily scan through the message to know what I'm looking at, what I can click through to know where I'm going to go shop.
Yep. And another one for me is, Catherine, you've said it before, but people love a button. I love a button. Like I'm almost like auto trained to click on a button. So I would
Yes.
like to see these shop now. Instead of it being plain text, I would love to see a button in there too, to kind of, especially if it could be kind of that same, a color that would go along with the logo. I think that would be a great eye-catching item in here. All right, let's go ahead and head into our next one. And this one is going to be Jonas Paul Eyewear. Now, the first thing that caught me right away when I saw this message was, hey, this is some really great product photography. Like, I'm really digging the product here. I can really see it across a bunch of different faces, and that looks really great. So, hats off to that one. Yeah, really like it a lot. For me, though, Catherine, I'd love to hear what you have to say, but I am missing that kind of like logo up at the top. I'm a little bit worried about just one giant image right away. Just in case somebody doesn't see images, they might be missing out here. What are your thoughts?
So I do really like the logo incorporated into the hero design trend. I think it works in a lot of instances. One of the things I would advise when using a trend like this is to keep the logo in the same position as you would if it was not integrated into an image, so that there is still some consistency and you don't have like logo bouncing everywhere. So I don't know if their logo is always in that top right corner of the message. Maybe consider centering it. If you're going to incorporate it into an image, definitely want to make sure you have alt text in that image so people know that like that's driving to your site, and that's very, so linking the image here is critical. But that way you could easily pull it out of the image or incorporate it into an image, and you haven't lost that consistency across your messaging. So that would be my recommendation there.
Yep. No, that's nice. That's a good way to think about it. So again, for people who maybe haven't heard us talk about this before, having that consistency really helps set up brand trust and loyalty so that people know that they can rely on you. I know it might seem like a small thing, but these are those little branding things that actually end up, mini shavings make a pile. So like over time, it really becomes really important for people. No, I agree too. I think that I do like the animated GIFs that we have here, but because we have the same models in here, sometimes I'm a little confused as to exactly what I'm seeing in each one. So I'd almost like one of the images, like a quick fix, one of the images to just be the sunglasses itself. So I can see that's the type of sunglass, because right now I can't really, it's tough for me to kind of tell how these sunglasses are different. And that could be me being an elder millennial and not really being able to tell things apart anymore. But that would be one little thing.
No, it's a design principle for sure, Kestrel. It's something that you're picking up on. You're looking for a place for your eye to rest. So there is such a thing as overusing GIFs. You definitely want to use them selectively in order to draw someone's eye through the message and keep someone engaged. Using too many GIFs or having too many things animated can actually have the opposite effect, where you don't know how to engage with the content. So I totally agree with you. Maybe choose a couple of the images to animate and have the other either be a still product image or a still lifestyle image, but give your eye a place to rest as you're scrolling through the message, so that the little bit of animation encourages you to keep scrolling as opposed to kind of like disengage with the content.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a solid recommendation. Otherwise, I think this is a pretty beautiful message overall. Is there any? Yeah, I know, right? Well, and of course, got a bunch of kids with some great products on. So, definitely kind of a home run for these as well. Any other kind of insights or ideas you got for these bad boys?
I love that they've incorporated that brand color, that beautiful teal throughout the message. I love the balance of images and live text here. Overall, I think it's a really excellent treatment of the content. Some really great strategies employed here. And like you said earlier, the product photography is killer. I love it. So awesome job on that.
Yep. Yeah, definitely for you all, I would say that it's time to really kick it into gear with some more advanced messaging. Like, I think that you've proven that you can put together a great looking message. So now I'm really looking forward to seeing more from you. All right, and then up next, we have got the Silver Star jackets. So let's take a look at this. This is sewing supplies. And I think one thing that, I like about this message is that, you've definitely put together kind of a grid system for people to easily be able to read through the message, which is something that I really like. The thing that I'm a little bit worried about is that there is quite a bit, I think, of unnecessary and repetitive text that's going on in here that for me, and you'll hear me talk about this a lot, but like if I'm, on my phone or like even if I'm just in a rush, like I'm just not going to read all this. And it's not really needed for this message. Like we could definitely, we want to get to the website, and the website's going to have all of this information. So I think you can consider really reducing the amount of text that you have in here and make sure it's not repetitive, and allow people to be able to get to the site to then focus on that. Catherine, what are you thinking?
I totally agree. If there's an opportunity to let the image speak for you so you can have less copy, like you were saying, like that's less work that your subscriber has to do, and you're engaging them with the image and getting them to the site, that's where they're going to get more information about the product. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here to really just let some more of the product that you're offering do the talking, and use the buttons and the layout that you've got here, to really pull people in, get them to click, and then get them to where they want to go on the site.
Yeah, I think so too. Another thing to maybe consider here is also up here in the navigation, up here where the logo is. I would consider, there something that Shopify provides, which is really great, is that logo generator. So you can actually create the image for a logo within their logo generator. And I think that that could be something that's really crisp and clean and clear that you can easily add into this message, so that you don't need to use your product photography as the logo, because that is tough to read. And instead you can have kind of a clean logo. So you can actually find that right within Shopify, or if you Google it, you can find it in there too, but they have a whole easy to use process to create your own logo.
Recognizability is an important part of your brand. So having a mark that could be, a unique symbol, or your actual brand name, or a combination of the two, something that's memorable and something that is unique to your brand, and that's something that's easy to read and recognize, is really an important part of branding. And I definitely say it's an important part of email design, because then you can use that consistently in that header section to help people get to know you, and recognize your content in the inbox. It just is part of creating trust with your subscriber.
Yep, couldn't agree more. All right, and then finally we have Cyclone. So this is an interesting one because this is a spin studio. So that's new for us on this show, to be able to review a live services workout group, and so I'm really excited about this. Now up here at the top, I love the brand recognition right away that we have with the logo. This is Tidbit Tuesday with Hal and Joanne. I watched the video, Ways to Relieve Stress. It's, very sweet. And I think that there's, not quite, I wouldn't say like an inside joke, but there's obviously something going on with you and your community and these videos, that means a lot. And I love that you're leaning into that. I think that that's fantastic. But as your email marketing strategist, I also really want to make sure we're promoting you and your brand and getting people to, of course, drive revenue with you. So for me, I wish that with the online classes, or if you are going back to having regular classes, something like that, I wish that was getting a little bit more space in this message, or if join the rides. I'm not sure if that's another way to keep people really engaged as well. I wish that was maybe featured a little bit more, because again, that helps build your business and drive it forward, which is also why people are opening this email. There's a reason why they subscribe, there's a reason why they're opening. So that would be just off the cuff, kind of a high level, something I would recommend. Catherine, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I love the idea of Tidbit Tuesday, and I think this is a really creative way to stay engaged with your customers and with your writers when things have kind of been on pause, right? So using email in such a meaningful and creative way to stay connected to your community, that's what it's all about. So I totally agree, Kestrel. This is super creative. But I do think there are some design tips and tricks that we could use to organize the content in a way that got people connecting with you more ways than just through this video. And you speak to that kind of at the bottom of the message. There's more online classes, there's a Spotify playlist, there's, stay tuned for bikes and beers. I kind of want to give that information more space in the message and frame it as these are all kind of the tidbits, but giving them a little bit more breathing room, a little bit more space in the message, so people can connect with you in a variety of ways throughout this newsletter.
Yep, I love that. One final thing I am seeing here, I love that you're asking for reviews. That's super important, especially on Google. I would maybe consider with this background image to make it a little bit darker, so that this white text comes through. And then you've got to remember that people, when they read through text, the bigger the text is, that's the thing that's going to get the most attention. So in this little part, because all the text is the same size, it's a little bit tough for me to understand exactly where I'm supposed to focus and what you want. So say something nice could mean a lot of things. Write us a Google review now could be a more direct way to get people to rate you those reviews. So just a little, whatever's the most important, we want that to be biggest and probably up kind of a little bit more at the top. And then you can have those supporting statements below as well.
Such a great call out, Kestrel. I definitely think there's opportunity to play around with font sizes to make sure that the most important information is catching someone's eye first.
Yep. Overall, I think this is a really fun message, and I'm really glad that we had a chance to review something that's a little bit more kind of outside just kind of standard online e-commerce too, because I know a lot of people are thinking about that as well. Just as a side note, I do think, if you're going to have this bikes and beers thing, make sure to take pictures with people so that you can utilize that in future email and social content too. Even if it's just you guys with your gear on, I think that would be great too. It's just that those candid photos, those real world photos, I think can add so much, especially because you are trying to build up a community of people who come to your classes, and that can really help reinforce that as well. All right, well, we just got through all 4. Yeah, we did all 4. So now it is time. Catherine, why don't you go ahead and spin that wheel and we'll see who is going to get the email makeover.
Here we go. I'm excited. And it's Cyclone Spin Studio.
Awesome. Oh, I'm so excited to see what you're going to do with this, Catherine. I'll let you go off to your magical workshop and start cooking something up.
I'm excited. Okay, I'll join you back in just a little bit. Okay, Kestrel, what do you think?
I think you did a great job. I was really happy to see with the elements that you utilized and how you incorporated color. Once again, just knocked us out of the park. I think it's something that they could use now, definitely in the future. So fantastic work, Catherine.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully all the tips and tricks that I incorporated in the message are super, super useful. And Cyclone Studio, thank you again for submitting your message. It was awesome to work with your brand.
All right, everybody. Now, if you want to be featured on an upcoming episode, go ahead and email us at critique@seguno.com. Put all the information below so you can see that. Please like, subscribe, comment. We listen to all the comments. We read them. We look at them. We want to know what you think. Give us some ideas on what you want to see next. Other than that, we'll see you next time.
Catch you soon.
Get out the burps. Get those burps out.
Get the burps out. Get them out.
There's a thunder in
Feel
the chest.
Thunder.
Yeah, feel the thunder, folks.